Hello students and welcome back. I hope everyone is doing well and through online classes we have completed two chapters in physics in class 10, that is electricity and the magnetic effect of electric current. Now we are moving to the next chapter we have, that is light, and this chapter is divided into two different parts. One is called reflection and other is called refraction. Reflection is something you have done in class 6, class 7th and class 8th also. But in class 10th we will have the same topic in a different way with more details and diagrams. And refraction is something new for you that will be done in this particular chapter. And there are lots of applications of both reflection and refraction, and that will be done or discussed throughout the classes. So let's start the class now. And very first, when you talk about light, we need to know how to define this particular term called light. And we have already understood in the previous classes, that is, if we have any object placed anywhere, we are able to see this object only because of the presence of light. Means if the light falls on this particular object from all the directions, and the same light gets reflected from the object in different direction, and once you receive this light coming from the object, you are able to see the object. So overall we are able to see any object with the help of light, and light is nothing but a form of energy. And based on these two concepts we are having the definition of light, that is, it helps to see but it's a form of energy. So we can say it is a form of energy which gives the sensation of vision. So different senses we have, so we are able to see anything with the help of light energy. Okay, that is how we define. And other than this definition, you should know something related with the light only. The very first thing is light, it is an electromagnetic wave, just for information. And more about it in details will be done in class 12. So electromagnetic wave is understood in class, I think 9 only understood. And if you remember in class 7th also you did the concept of radiation, where you also discussed that radiation is nothing but a kind of energy in the form of wave which can travel even through the vacuum. So we understood there the light is a kind of radiation. And overall it is made up of two different components. One is called electric field. So in the light we have electric field and we have magnetic field also. So briefly we should know that if light is traveling in a particular direction, then perpendicular to the direction of light, the electric field and magnetic field oscillate, that is vibrate. That is more than enough for class 10. So we can say light is having the electric and magnetic field which are basically perpendicular to each other. So we can say the direction of light, the electric field, magnetic field, all the three are perpendicular to each other. So only this much you should have. Next thing is if the light is traveling through vacuum or through any other medium, it will have different speed. So you should know the speed of light in vacuum is written as small c, which is nothing but approx 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Means in a second it will cover a distance of 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter. So you can imagine the speed of the light. So all you should remember, we represent it with the small c letter, speed of light. And this speed will change with the change in medium. So it is understood in vacuum there is no disturbance, so the speed of light will be maximum. So we can say this is the maximum speed of the light. And with the change in medium, like if the light will travel from vacuum to air, air to liquid, liquid to glass, and any other medium through which the light can pass, then in that ways the speed will be affected, and in all the medium the speed of light will be less than 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. So we can say with the change in medium, there is a change in speed of light. That will be discussed in the chapter in the concept of refraction. Okay, this is one thing you should know. And overall, one more thing you should know, the concept called optics. So optics is nothing but a branch of physics where we study about light. So optics is a subject, or we can say a branch of physics where we study about light. Okay, so as I told you, electricity is the branch of physics where we study about electric charges and electric current. So optics is the branch of physics where we study about light. So optics is a subject, and this is one of the most advanced subject we have nowadays, and lots of applications we have of this optics. Okay, so this is all you should know. And one more thing can be written here, that is the speed of light changes with change in medium. So that we'll discuss properly later on, but this information you should have with you. Okay, so overall this is one thing. And one more thing is, you know, white light. When you talk about the light which we see is the white light, and that is made up of 7 colors. Okay, so overall that was done in class 7th also, that is the spectrum concept. So light is made up of different 7 colors, means all the colors that we know, that is, if you remember, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. So these are the different colors. So we can say these are the different waves which combine together to form the electromagnetic wave called white light. So white light, a wave which is made up of different waves. Different waves mean different energy or wave in or different wavelengths and different features that we'll see later on. Okay, so this is all the information we should have. That is the introduction of this concept, light. Now we are moving to the next part of this particular chapter, that is called reflection. So for the next, I think almost 3-4 classes, we'll continue with the same topic, reflection, and then next 3-4 classes or 4 classes we can say we'll have the refraction concept. So overall, before we start the reflection concept, one thing we already know, that if we talk about the light energy, so light always travel in a straight path, and that property is called rectilinear propagation. So we remember this, we did in class I think 6 only. That is, light travels in a straight path. If there is no disturbance, it will continue to move in a same direction, and once the light will be obstructed by any medium, then it will change the direction, and that change in direction can be in the medium, it can be within the medium, it can be before the medium. All things are possible, and based on that we have 2 different concepts, that is called reflection and refraction. So one thing we know, light travels in a straight path, and that is called rectilinear propagation. And if we are talking about 2 different medium, medium 1, medium 2. Medium 1, medium is nothing but the matter we are talking about, or it can be the absence of medium also, that is vacuum. Just take an example, we have air, medium 1, and glass or mirror. So better write down mirror so that you have better understanding. So if you talk about the medium 1 and medium 2, air and mirror, so if the light will fall on this particular mirror which is medium 2, so what will happen, we know in the air light is traveling in the straight direction, but once the mirror will be placed in front of the light, it will change the direction in the same medium, and this phenomenon is called reflection of light. So overall we can say, if the light changes its direction in the same medium due to obstruction, this phenomenon is called reflection. I'm talking about same medium because the light was traveling in air. This was the first medium, and after changing direction, what you see, the light is traveling in the same medium, that is air. So it is not traveling in medium 2. So medium 2 is just a kind of obstruction for the ray of light, because of which the direction has been changed, and this phenomenon is called reflection of light. So we can write down, if or the change in direction of light in the same medium due to obstruction by another medium is reflection. So that is the simple meaning and definition we have. So whenever we are talking about reflection, we should not talk about like the bouncing back of the light or something like, because the energy, the light is a form of energy. So we should better use proper terms related with the concept. So I hope the reflection is understood now, and this was done in class 8 as well. And once we talk about reflection, we have laws of reflection as well. That is the next topic we have. That was also done in class 8. So overall this class today is a kind of revision of class 8 concept. So the next thing we have is called laws of reflection of light. Okay, so before we understand, very first let's draw the diagram. Now onwards, before I do any diagram, one thing you should remember in this particular chapter, all the diagrams that we do must be done with proper scale and pencil, and the diagram should be neat and clean, because that is very important. Okay, so just take care of these things. So very first, let's talk about the concept. So we have a particular object, not just mirror, but any object can reflect the light. So let this be a object. Okay, and a ray of light is falling on this particular object. Okay, then it will get reflected. Yes or no? So I am giving the name, this point as O, this I am giving X, this I am giving Y. Okay, so overall the light which is falling on the object is given the name, if you remember, XO is called incident ray. So I'll quickly cover it, you already know it. And the ray which is coming after change in direction is called reflected ray. So this is your reflected ray. Okay, and then point O is called point of incidence. So the point where the light ray is falling, that is called point of incidence. And now next thing we know, if the light is falling at particular point A, so at point A, perpendicular to this object, that is the surface of this object, we can draw the line which is dotted. That is also you have done in class 8, if you remember. So let's give this name NO. So NO is basically perpendicular to the surface of the object, and this NO is called normal, that is perpendicular to the surface. So I hope you remember these things. And next thing is, the incident ray and reflected ray are making the angles with the normal. So the incident ray XO making the angle with NO, and let this be small I and let this be small r, and you already know, so I is nothing but angle XON, which is called incident angle or angle of incidence. R is nothing but angle YON, which is called reflected angle or angle of incidence, sorry, angle of reflection. So these things we have already done in class 8, so I'm just repeating the same thing. Now if we understood the diagram, so the very first law that we know, so this is I think understood now. So you should know the names of different parts of this reflection diagram. So the first law says that, so the very first law we have, and it simply says that I is equal to R. That is, if the light is falling at a particular point, then the angle of incidence and angle of reflection will be always equal to each other. Always, in all the conditions, this I and R will be equal. So statement is the angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection, and that is somehow based on the conservation of energy. So it is believed that when the ray of light is falling on the surface, it will have some energy, and the same energy will be reflected back. So based on that conservation of energy, the angles almost remain same. Okay, so that is I is equal to R in all the condition. And second law, if you remember, and for this we can take the help of simple concept, that is, now you can see this is nothing but a plane mirror, that is a mirror which is having a flat surface. Okay, that is called a plane mirror. So just take an example, if we have the mirror here, I'm just taking the help of the mirror, but I cannot show the entire thing. So just take an example, the mirror is placed here. Okay, so this is my mirror now. Okay, now, so mirror is on the board, that you have to imagine, and perpendicular to this mirror, that is perpendicular to the board, we imagine another surface now. So this mirror now, what I show you is basically a plane, that is your imagination, and this plane is perpendicular to the mirror. So this is my mirror, and this is one imaginary surface which is perpendicular to the mirror only. So the second law says that if the mirror is on the board, then if you imagine a surface perpendicular to the board such that the incident ray is on this plane, that is the plane we are talking about. So if this pen is indicating your ray of incident ray which is falling on the mirror, then reflected ray will be on the same plane and the normal will also be on the same plane. So overall, if the light is falling on the mirror such that it is on the plane which I have shown to you, so incident ray is on this plane, so reflected ray will also be on the same plane, that is the mirror only, and the normal that we are talking about is also drawn on the same surface. So overall, the second law is nothing but it says that all the time the incident ray, reflected ray and the normal will always lie on the same plane, and that plane is always perpendicular to the mirror, or it can be perpendicular to the surface by which or from which the light is reflected. So one more thing can be done, like if the plane mirror is here, so sorry, the mirror is here and the surface is here, imagination, so the light is here, so this incident ray cannot be reflected from this particular direction, so it must be on the same plane. So if I shift the plane upward, now the incident ray here, reflected ray on this one, so we can say with the shift in the plane, the incident ray, reflected ray and the normal will also shift, and all the three will remain on the same plane all the time, and all the three are basically at the same particular point, that is called point of incidence. So I hope you understood. The mirror or the object will reflect the light any point from any point will be such that all the three, the incident ray, reflected ray and the normal, will remain on the same plane. So it's not possible light is falling this way and it will reflect upward. Not possible. If the light is falling this way, it will reflect here, that is on the same plane, that is your imagination, and normal we are also talking about. If the light is falling here, the reflection will be at this particular place, it cannot be reflecting downward. Okay, so this is also valid all the time. So it says that the incident ray, the reflected ray and the normal at the point of incidence we can say lie on the same plane. So and this plane, I hope you understood, a plane which is perpendicular to the surface which reflect the light. So all the laws we have related with this reflection are valid in all the condition. So I hope you understood this much. Now we are moving to the next part, that is based on I and R's we can discuss some concepts, and then we'll move to the next part of this particular chapter, or the reflection part. So overall it is understood that if we have any surface, light is falling on it and the light is also reflected here. So if this angle, for example, is x, this angle is y, such that, so this is just a kind of mirror, okay, any surface. So for example, if x is 30 degree, so we know what will be I and R. So this we can find out in very simple way. If x, we know that is the angle made by the incident ray with the surface of the mirror. So how to find angle I and R? For this, what is to be done? Draw the normal, and now let this angle be I only, so that we know. So I plus x will be nothing but 90 degree, because the normal we have drawn is perpendicular to the surface. So I plus x must be 90 degree. So I will be nothing but 90 minus x. So 90 minus 30 is equal to 60 degree. And according to the law, we know I is equal to R also. So this is your R. This will be nothing but 60 degree. So depending upon what angle is given to you, the angle to the with the surface of the mirror or with the normal, accordingly we can find out I and R. So only remember, all the case, whenever we are talking about angle of incidence and angle of reflection, we must take the angle with reference to the normal. So don't be confused with the surface and the normal. Okay, so this is one thing here, and one more thing you understood here, that is overall we can also say that is R plus y will be nothing but I plus x. This is also 90, this is also 90, and I and R are equal. So in place of I we can write down I, in place of R. So you understood, your x and y will also be equal. So this simple mathematics, based on the concept of I is equal to R, we can have any kind of numerical. So always remember the concept, rest you can try yourself. Okay, so this is one thing which you understood now. Next thing is, we understood if we have a flat surface and if the light is falling on this. Okay, so this diagram is given to you, a ray of light falling on the surface such that it is making some angle of 30 degree. Now you have to complete this diagram. So this is a diagram given to you which is not so complete, and this is one of the object. Okay, so how to complete this diagram? A very simple step we have. Very first, we must draw the normal. Okay, and normal must be perpendicular to the surface. And now we know that this is nothing but I, and I plus 30 should be equal to 90. So I must be 90 minus 30, that is 60 degree. According to the law, we know I is equal to R is equal to 60 degree. Now with the normal we can measure the 60 degree angle, and then we can complete the diagram. So taking this as 60 degree, we can complete the diagram, and this is how we can complete incomplete diagram based on the reflection for a flat surface. So I hope you understood. If any diagram is given to you, how to cover it. This is also possible that a surface is given to you and the reflected ray is given to you, and this reflected ray is making some angle, let it be 20 degree. Just take an example. Now you have to complete the diagram. So you understood. Very first, How to identify if the ray given to you is incident or reflected ray, that must be understood. So with the help of this arrow mark we are able to identify, and this arrow mark is away from the surface, so we understood this is reflected ray. If the arrow mark is toward the surface, we understood that is incident ray. So we understood in this case reflected ray is given to you, and now we have to complete this diagram. So what is to be done? Again, draw the normal. Okay, and now let this will be angle R. So R plus 20 will be nothing but how much? 90 degree. So R will be 90 minus 20, that is 70 degree. And according to the concept, I must be equal to R 70 degree. So with the normal ON, again you measure 70 degree with the surface, with the normal, and at 70 degree you just draw the line, and this line will be nothing but your incident ray, showing the angle of incidence I is equal to 70 degree. So we can have any kind of diagrams based on the reflection, and we should know how to complete the diagram based on the laws of reflection. So I hope this part is understood. One more thing we should know, that is, if we have a flat surface, we know how to draw the normal. So simple 90 degree we can draw. So this will become your normal to the surface. But if the surface given to you is not so flat, it is a curve, then in that case, how to find out the normal? So just take an example. We have a curve object in the form of curve, we can say, which is having a curved surface, and the light is falling on this particular point. And now we have to complete this diagram. So light is just falling on it and nothing below. So what is to be done? Very first, we need to know the normal to this surface. So for a flat surface, it's very simple to draw the 90 degree, but for a curve, we should know how to find the normal. So overall, if you see, this is nothing but a part of the circle. So any curve is always a part of the circle. So if I draw this curve, it is a part of a small circle, we can say, somehow. Okay, if I draw this curve, it is a part of the big circle. So any curve is a part of a circle, and any circle will have the center point. So let this be a center point. Okay, so for this curve, we have a circle and center is O. Okay, this is the first thing we should know. Second thing is, we understood the property of the circle. You might have done in mathematics, that is, if we have a circle, okay, and if you draw the tangent anywhere on this circle, tangent, you know, a line which is touching the circle at a single point. So if this is nothing but a tangent, and this tangent is connected with the radius r. So you know, at any point if you draw the tangent and if you draw the radius, the property of the circle says that this remains perpendicular to each other. So overall, the radius, if it is extended other side, so if the radius will be extended other side, it will remain perpendicular here also. So overall, we can say for a particular curve, if you draw the radius, that radius will be nothing but perpendicular to this particular tangent, and that radius will work as a normal. Simple. So applying the same concept, what we can do here, very first at the point of incidence we can draw the tangent. So we can draw a tangent dotted line. Now we got the tangent, and now connect this with the center. So once you connect with the center, this will be nothing but the radius, and this radius, you know, it is perpendicular to the surface. So we got the normal now. So this dotted is nothing but the normal, and this is nothing but your angle of incidence. So I hope you can see the angle here which I am getting here, that is a very small angle, is nothing but angle I, and if I give the name, this is your NP. So NP is your normal, and that normal is nothing but a line passing through the center of the circle, means overall it is the radius of the circle of which this curve is a part. Okay, So we got the angle I, and now we know I is equal to R. So if you can measure the angle I with the help of the protractor, you can measure the same angle other side with the normal, and you can complete the diagram. So almost same angle we have to draw other side, and this will be your R. So I is equal to R, and this is how we have to complete the diagram based on the reflection for a curved surface. So all the time, very first when we have to complete the diagram, we need to find out the normal. So for the flat surface, it's very simple to find the normal. For a curve, we have to go through this process. That is, the point at which the light is falling, very first draw the tangent on the curve. From the same tangent, you draw a line perpendicular to the tangent, and that perpendicular will be nothing but your normal. And now you know how to measure the angle with the normal. That is, with reference to the normal, you can draw the measure the angle of incident, and then same angle you can take other side. That will be angle of reflection. And once you complete, it will show you the complete ray diagram for the reflection. So this is also covered in the topic we are going to discuss very soon. That is when we talk about the different types of the mirror and concept related to that. Okay. So I hope you understood how to cover this part. And now I'm moving to the next topic we have, that is called real and virtual image. So this you also understood. The meaning we have understood in class 7. So overall, real image is nothing but that is obtained on a screen. So if we can get any image on the screen, that image is called real, and if that cannot be obtained on a screen, that is virtual. So can't be obtained on a screen. So the best example we have, like if we are having a projector, so that projector basically forms the image on a white screen in general, so that image we are able to see on the white screen is a kind of real image. So somewhere on the screen you are able to see, but that image you cannot see in the vacuum. So if there is no medium in front of the projector, you cannot see that image. So we can say, to see the real image, we need some medium. Okay, so the image can be obtained on that particular medium, and that medium is nothing but a screen. And second thing is the virtual image, that is remain within the optical device which forms the image. Simple example is the plane mirror. So whenever we are talking about the image formed in this particular mirror, you know that image is only within that particular mirror. So if I place the mirror somewhere at a place, and if I place anything in front of this mirror, we cannot see anything that is there on the mirror on the particular screen. So if in front of this mirror, if I place this screen or any kind of medium, then whatever image we have on this the mirror, that will remain in the mirror only, and that cannot be obtained on any other screen. So we know when we are standing in front of the plane mirror, whatever image is there in that mirror remains there only, and that cannot be seen on any other screen placed in the front of mirror. So simple example is, if you have a plane mirror, and if you place the screen here, so the image is formed within the mirror only, and that image cannot be seen on the screen. But in the case of real image, it is possible. So we'll talk about when we'll discuss the different types of the mirror we have. So in general, if you place any screen in front of the different types of the mirror, then whatever image is formed by this can be obtained on a screen. So some mirrors can form the image on the screen, some lenses can also form the image on a screen, that is called real image, and some mirror cannot form the screen on the image on the screen, that is called virtual image. So this is one thing we should know, that is based on the definition, image which is obtained on the screen is called real and cannot be obtained on a screen is virtual. And how the real and virtual image forms, briefly we should know, that is, if we have an object, if the light is falling on this particular object, okay, and if the same light is reflected back from the object, and somehow with the help of some optical device, so optical device that is based on the light, okay, that we'll discuss with the classes. So with the help of optical device, if these rays of light can converge at a point, if it is possible, so the light which is coming from the object can be converged at any point by some optical device, then this kind of image will be a real image. So we can say the point where the rays of light will meet together, that is the point where the image is formed, and this image is called real image. So only thing is to remember, if the rays of light coming from an object will meet at a point, then that will form a real image. So we can say at this point, if we place a screen, then on the screen we can see the image of this object, okay. This is the concept of real image, that is the rays of light from object meet or converge at a point to form real image. Simple concept like this. We'll understand with the help of different optical devices coming in the next classes. So if this is possible, image is real. Otherwise, image can be virtual. So this you have to remember. If the rays of light coming from the object can be converged at a place, it will form real image. But if we have the object and the light is falling on this object, and once they reflect, they start diverging from each other, and maybe the light coming from the object cannot meet together at any point, then in that case it will form the virtual image somewhere. So that we'll discuss when we'll have the diagram properly. So if the rays cannot meet, they seem to be diverging from each other, so in that case it will form virtual image. So we can say rays coming from object diverge from each other. So we can say if it forms real image, it forms virtual image. So these topics of real and virtual will be more clear when we'll start with the different optical devices, when we talk about different types of the mirror, plane mirror, spherical mirror, and different types of the spherical mirror, lens. So throughout this chapter we are going to talk about real, virtual, so it will be clear. But remember this concept, if the rays coming from the object will converge at a point, if they can converge with the help of some optical devices, then it will form real image. If the light coming from the object cannot converge, they will start diverging, it will form virtual image. That is all the concept we have. So for today I think this is more than enough. We cannot extend much, and next class onwards we will start with the different optical devices we have. Means we will talk about plane mirror, how the image is formed by a plane mirror. We will see the spherical mirror and how the image is formed by a spherical mirror, and that will be done with the help of lots of diagram. So I'm just repeating one thing, that all the diagrams which are done in this particular chapter must be done with the help of the proper scale and pencil. So the rays of light should be a straight line, and whatever arrow mark we are showing in the diagram, that must be there. That is very important. So for today is done. Just be at home, just take care of yourself, and Hari Om. Thank you.